A few years back, I did a whole video about the most disrespectful post-fight celebrations this sport has ever seen, and while those moments truly are just a proverbial slap in the face to the person that fighter just defeated, perhaps far more humiliating and devastating is being shown that disrespect in the middle of the fight, when the outcome is still in question. You are so little a threat to this person that they've decided to ridicule you when they could have been attacking you. And man, there have been some classics over the years. I'm Tommy from MMA On Point, and these are the 10 most disrespectful mid-fight moments in MMA history. Number 10, no can defend bang. So it's the year 2000, undefeated Dwayne Ludwig, or Ludwig as Bruce Buffer calls him on the night, looks to be about 12 years old and is fighting in his 4th ever pro bout at King of the Cage. We got Rico Rodriguez, Don Wilson, and Eddie Bravo on commentary. That's fun. Ludwig was the protege of Boss Rutan, as many of you know, since it's one of Dwayne's favorite topics, and El Guapo was in his corner for the fight, rocking a Hawaiian shirt because everything about this is awesome, except for the referee. My God. In any other organization in the universe, this kick is a knockout and a stoppage by the referee. Instead, the ref just lets the guy get up, even though seconds earlier he was stiff, and Ludwig then beats the shit out of him some more. He drops again. Does the ref stop it? Nah, you kidding? What are we, pussies? And that's when it happens. Ludwig does the damn Karate Kid crane kick pose. The absolute disrespect to throw that in there, but who could blame him? Not like he was in any danger. Luckily, Shad Smith's corner threw in the towel eventually, because the referee was certainly just gonna let the guy die. Afterward, Dwayne invented Derek Lewis's balls was hot moment to reveal that his underwear says Little Boss. Alright then. Afterwards, Boss's buddy Steven Quadros caught up with the mentor-protege pairing to ask about the taunt.
I said it for fun. I said, listen, if you want to throw the guy up, go for the karate stance, and that may give him a right straight.
Early 2000s MMA, man. You cannot beat it. Number 9, back bongos. Dude, it was a rough night for Brandon Vera when he took on Thiago Silva at UFC 125. I don't know exactly what happened here, but Vera tried to explain it after the fact.
I broke mentally in that fight. Like, he just straight big brothered me and just kind of held me.
It's a weird one to watch. It was 3 rounds of what looked like one guy who didn't even want to be there getting his ass beat from the top. Really strange. Like, there was no pushback at all. I'm actually surprised the referee didn't step in. But to add to all the difficulty of this for Brandon would be the relentless taunting that came in the 3rd round. As he curled up on the ground, Silva is smacking the shit out of him and, most memorably, starts playing the drums on the dude's back.
Oh man, now he's mocking him. Bitch slapping him and mocking him at the same time. Playing drums on his back.
Vera would break his nose during that final exchange as well, just to top off the shit sandwich he had for dinner that night. Even worse, he was cut from the UFC after the fight, which he said was like a death in the family. But believe it or not, there's a silver lining to this whole situation. Silva would piss hotter than a ghost chili pepper smoothie, and so the loss would be overturned, and Vera was given another chance in the UFC, where he got 3 more fights out of the whole deal. Not too bad, all things considered. Number 8, let me take a selfie. Perhaps the king of mid-fight disrespect is Michael Venom Page. Some would say, oh, that's actually Anderson Silva. But to be fair to Anderson, and he does have some pretty disrespectful moments, like the entire Damian Maia fight, a lot of his were tactical decisions or weapons against his opponent. He largely either feigned boredom or goaded his opponents into engaging.
It works every time.
Page's taunts, on the other hand, are downright humiliating. If this were a list of most disrespectful moments, period, number 1 might have been Mike rolling that Pokeball at Cyborg after literally crushing his skull.
He took a chance and paid the big price.
But there's no more infamous mid-fight moment for MVP than the one that cost him a point and could have cost him the fight. Venom was coming off the very first loss of his entire MMA career, and as a tune-up would be taking on Richard Kiley in Dublin. A minute in, Page pointed to his chin, which prompted a bird from Kiley that weirdly stopped the action, with Big Dan warning the fighters. Okay, but then things got absolutely ridiculous on that front. As Page was raining down strikes from the top on a very likely soon-to-be finished Kiley, he took a moment to pretend he was taking a selfie with his battered foe. Now, Big Dan took a point for it, and not only that, reset position to stand it. Can you imagine if Kiley landed some big shot after that and MVP lost the fight for taunting? Insane. Page would very disrespectfully get the knockout with a flying knee, and claimed in interviews after the fight that Murgliata called him a piece of shit following the finish. Number 7, double bird triangle.
You like that? Yeah, let's show.
I mean, we could probably just put Nate Diaz's entire career here, can't we? When it comes to mid-fight disrespect, it's sort of expected if you're fighting Diaz. Some classic moments do stand out though. One of my all-time favorites, flipping off a completely broken Donald Cerrone prior to the start of the last round of their fight, or flipping off Benson Henderson Anderson for being a wrestler. Fox was not happy about that one. If pointing and laughing at someone is rude, then he certainly owes Leon Edwards an apology, although considering it gave him time to recover and not lose any chance of ever competing for a title for the rest of his career, I'm sure he was okay with Nate pointing and laughing, even if he had no idea in the moment where he even was anymore. But without question, the most disrespectful Nate has ever been, and the most badass, was his triangle choke of Kurt Pellegrino. As Joe Rogan so perfectly described it, double fingers and a fully locked in triangle. It's incredible. As soon as he hits it, he knows it's over. Arms up in triumph, middle fingers, flexing. It's iconic as fuck, and one of those moments that makes Nate impossible to hate. But of course, he's not the only Diaz without any fucks to give. Number 6, lounging around the GOAT. Now, Nick Diaz has been doing this his entire career. Who can forget that classic moment that Steve Mazzagatti warned Nick there's no talking during a fight as he was taunting the shit out of Robbie Lawler in their first encounter? Or the infamous "so we're doing spinning shit now" conversation with Carlos Condit. If there's an opportunity during a fight for Nick Diaz to throw you off your game by talking some shit, he's going to do it. But his magnum opus is without question the bout with Anderson Silva. The Spider is so intimidating that even as his career faded, there were so many fighters, like Uriah Hall for instance, who seemed entirely hesitant to engage with him at all. This was still the greatest and most dangerous middleweight ever in their eyes. Nick let Anderson know right out of the gate that there would be no intimidation. The taunting started immediately, and with Silva unwilling to engage with it, Nick would just straight up lay down on the mat like it was a lazy Sunday on the couch watching Ghostbusters on TNT. It's probably the only moment from that fight that anybody remembers, and rightly so. Number 5, natural disrespect. Did you know that Tito Ortiz landed a total of 7 strikes in the last 3 rounds of his light heavyweight title defense against Randy Couture? The guy got absolutely spanked. You see what I did there? We'll get back to it, don't worry. At the time, I would argue this moment was the highlight of Randy Couture's entire career. Looking back now, a 40-year-old Randy Couture was practically a puppy, as he would go on to fight to the very edge of 47. I mean, whole careers are shorter than 7 years. But at the time of the Tito fight, Couture was already considered an old man, and it kind of felt like that might be true, especially compared to the 28-year-old champion with cool Gen X bleached hair. Prior to his huge upset win over Chuck Liddell to earn the interim gold that got him his shot at Ortiz, Couture appeared to be down and out, having lost 2 heavyweight title bouts in a row in his late 30s. Meanwhile, with Tito's win over Ken Shamrock, he'd surpassed Brother Frank as the winningest light heavyweight champ until John Jones. So the odds were stacked, but Randy absolutely dominated Ortiz in every aspect of the fight, with a smothering 21 minutes of control time. With his opponent stacked up in the closing moments of the fight, the always playful Randy gave Tito a little spanking before time expired. To go from the face of a new generation to having an old man spanking you and taking your title, the humiliation must have been worse than the beating. Number 4, Smoochy Smoochy. It was one of the weirdest moments I've ever seen in a title fight, and it very well could have been one of those moments that ended up on those instant karma TikToks that 57 million people like and comment on without any context. The Sphere main event was the Sugar Show versus the Machine. First, there was the weird trouble between Merab and Sean's coach, who was yelling out to Dvalishvili in the first round, causing the Georgian to look like he was about to pull a Khabib and hop the fence to get some Dylan Danis action. But that's a coach, we don't care about that. The real disrespect was Merab laying little smooches on O'Malley's back as the second round was closing. After Herb Dean stopped the makeout session, Merab got up thinking the round was over and nearly got ended by O'Malley. The funniest possible conclusion to the Sphere ever. For Dana's reaction alone, it would have been worth it.
Time was not shouldn't have done the kissing. He kissed him.
Number 3, Khabib's mid-fight chat. This might be the scariest disrespect I've ever heard. Khabib Nurmagomedov came into UFC 205 with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. Next in line for the title, the Eagle would get jumped past by the massively popular Conor McGregor to steal his spot at the top of the card. That could have easily been him headlining the event, and instead he was relegated to the prelims fighting a guy ranked below him in Michael Johnson. An example needed to be made, and oh my god was it. The second and third rounds were absolutely brutal, with Johnson taking ungodly punishment on the ground. That mercifully ended with a Kimura halfway through the final round. While it was somewhat apparent on the live broadcast that Khabib was being chatty during the fight, the isolated audio afterwards that was released without commentary revealed the nightmare that Johnson was living.
Get up, Mike. You have to get up, Mike.
Telling telling a dude you're punching in the face that you deserve a title shot and everybody knows it is crazy business, and one of the most disrespectful things we've ever seen happen during a fight. Bonus points to Khabib for doing the same thing to Conor in their eventual title bout. Let's talk indeed. Number 2, Max God Mode. Is being in full-on Ultra Instinct mode disrespectful? It is when you do what Max Holloway did to Calvin Kattar. When you think about it, this is probably the most famous moment of Kattar's career, making it all the more disrespectful. And that's not a knock on Holloway as some kind of jerk. By all accounts, he's a super good dude. But what happened between these two in that Fight Night main event was something I have never seen before, and I doubt I'll ever see again. The bout holds 10+ all-time single fight striking records, and that's because Max landed 447 strikes over the course of 5 rounds that he won handedly. The disrespect came during a sequence that defies reality, like something you'd see in a movie. In the 5th, after turning Calvin into walking hamburger, Max looked at the commentary team, pointed to them, told them he is the best boxer in the UFC. Honestly, that should have been counted as a knockout. Stop the fight, everybody throw every towel in. Winner by humiliation. Number 1, career-ending disrespect. There's not many things more frustrating than someone holding you down. Not being able to get up because someone else has decided that you can't is pure rage fuel. Now imagine it's this guy doing it, and he does it to you for 12 minutes of a 15-minute fight. And it's in a title eliminator, the culmination of your life's work up to this point. That alone might make anyone lose their mind like Paul Daly did. But that's not even the worst part. Josh Koscheck is one of the most ruthless trash talkers this sport has ever seen.
Motorboat his ass.
Not only had Josh dominated the fight, he'd also earlier reacted to a phantom knee as if he'd been scarred for life. So the frustration had to be through the roof for Daly. But in the final 30 seconds, Koscheck can be seen talking to Daly the entire time. While we don't know the exact words that were said, both men have acknowledged that it was very unpleasant, to the point that once the horn finally sounded after Paul took a 30-second ear beating, he got up and punched Josh in the face, getting himself banned for life from the UFC, and he specifically cited the trash talk as to why he lost his temper. Mid-fight disrespect ending someone's whole career? How could it not be number 1? And my number 1's the editor of this video, Luke Taylor. Please follow him on all his socials and go check out his awesome YouTube channel. He'd greatly appreciate it. A big ol' thanks to our channel members. Your support has been wonderful, and you guys are the glue around here. Fight fans, hit the join button to become a member as well and get exclusive content. Like and subscribe for Merab to give you a smooch. Leave some comments about other disrespectful moments that happened mid-fight, and thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the flip side.